Okay, we're going to take a look at another one calculating a bill. So, one of the things I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in a little bit of different information. So, one of the things that, I like to do is I like to play computer games, believe it or not. The wires going up to the monitor, there's a mouse and a keyboard. Now, one of the things, because I use my computer a lot, especially back when I was in college, I kind of got in the habit of just leaving my computer on all the time. Now, I have a computer that I can do some computer games with, so I have a power supply, and you might actually be able to find this on your computer if you have one. The power supply for my computer at the time was actually a pretty big power supply, which is the sort of thing that you need for a computer that's more powerful for gaming, among other things. Those of you familiar with PC gaming, you're probably familiar with having to replace some parts and get a large power supply. The power supply that I had was a 750 watt power supply. A regular desktop computer, not one designed for gaming or anything like that, that doesn't have any additional bells or whistles, it might have something that's more like 250 or 300 watt. In fact, I'd usually buy one of those computers, buy a new power supply, and then swap them out and upgrade other parts of the computer since I have enough power for it. All right, we're going to assume, not correctly, but we're going to assume that my computer did actually consume 750 watts. In reality, the power supply can supply that, but it'll fluctuate based on what I'm doing with the computer. If I put it to sleep, it'll only take a small fraction of that. And it's very unlikely that I was pulling all 750 watts because I didn't connect all the parts of the power supply. That being said, I was probably up in the 400 watt range when I was regularly using it. We're going to, for simplicity, take it as 750 watt. As a quick side note, you could also do this sort of problem with a microwave. If you look on the microwave, there's probably a little sticker that will tell you the power of it. Many microwaves are about 1,000 watts. Or 1,500 watts on some of the bigger, fancier ones. But you could then just take the power that is listed there. Regardless, we're going to solve this with my computer. Let's say that I foolishly leave my computer on the entire month. And once again, we'll say 1 month is equal to 30 days. Now, as we've talked about hopefully before, or in one of the other videos, the power company around here charges me about 10 cents $0.10, 10 cents, per 1 kilowatt hour. Now I need to take what my computer draws, we're going to assume it's 750 watts, and I need to turn it into what I'm going to be billed for. Okay, well, I don't need watts, what I really need are watt hours. So I'm going to take that my computer uses 750 watts every, second that it's plugged in. But I'm going to multiply that by the time that I actually have it plugged in. I need watt hours. So I'm going to leave it on straight for 1 month times 1 month. But we said that 1 month is 30 days. And 1 day is 24 hours. Here's where I can introduce watt hours. I could have done watt months or watt days, but that won't help me because I'm not billed in that. The reason I want watt hours is because it will get me close to kilowatt hours, and that's actually what I'm charged in. So, month, days, and I multiply these out, and that will give me how many watt hours I use. 750 times 30 times 24 is... The amount of watt hours my computer would use in 1 month is 540,000 watt hours. Well, I'm not charged by the watt hour, I'm charged by the kilowatt hour. And as we've talked about before, 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1,000 watt hours. Kilo means 1,000. My watt hours will cancel out and leave me in kilowatt hours. And so now I need 540,000 divided by 1,000. That's going to give me 540 kilowatt hours is how much I'm going to consume if I leave my computer on all month. Okay, well, to find out what my electric bill would be, I'm going to multiply that by 0.10, 10 cents per 1 kilowatt hour. And I'm going to find that the amount that I'm going to have to pay is 540 times 0.1. $54 is what it's going to cost me if I leave my computer on all month, assuming I use the maximum 750 watts, etc., etc. So there are some assumptions that go into this, but I can tell you from experience that if you leave something like that on a long time, it's going to start racking up your electric bill a lot. You can go through and you can find out how much it would cost to leave light bulbs on. You'll find that if you leave them on all the time, depending on the light bulb, they're going to cost you maybe $5, maybe upwards of $10. Run through the numbers. You can use a 100-watt bulb, for instance. Instead of 750, you'd use 100. You could have a 60-watt bulb. It will cost you a different amount. You're going to find that it will be maybe $5 or so. That may not sound like much, but that's per bulb. That's $5 that you could save. You could buy lunch with that, or part of lunch. Anyway, this is a way that you can get a pretty good estimate of how much it's going to cost on the electric bill based off of a little bit of information about your equipment. You might even be able to Google some stuff about it too. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to give you perfectly the amount that it's going to cost. This is using the ideal numbers, and in real life, the numbers might be a little bit off, but even still, this will give you a pretty good ballpark of what it's going to cost you. $50 every month is a lot. Something to think about.